minute. A lot of ground loops, electricity, just weird things.
Ohm's Law.
I'm all sweaty, just getting ready for the podcast. This is a trashier than Trashy Joe Rogan podcast where nothing works. The computer didn't work. The mixer didn't work.
I thought you were saying Joe Rogan was trashy, but we were just doing it better.
Oh, no.
Oh. Never mind then.
I don't think Joe Rogan is very trashy. I think he's a pretty classy dude for being a comedian.
Oh, he's got a lot of class.
He's got a lot of.
He's got 100
money.
million new classes.
That's a lot of money.
He's already doing great from the what's it called?
From the reruns of
Fear Factor.
Fear Factor? Yeah.
Where he made people eat fucking horse nuts and shit.
Yeah. The best.
Here's some donkey sperm.
Enjoy.
One day I'll be the biggest contributor to society in their opinions.
I just can't believe that was such a big hit of a show. It didn't seem like there was much to it. It was just what gross things can we make people crawl in or eat?
What'd they crawl? Oh, yeah, they got in like snake bits.
Maggots and stuff.
Which ain't that bad.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm not doing a snake
bees
bit.
And snakes are. I mean, I think snakes are pretty cool, but not to be in a pit of them.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a pit.
Like,
of
I don't
snakes.
want money that bad.
Oh my god. It just shows how depraved. Like the thing you would do for a Klondike bar just shows how depraved you really are.
I'd rather have a Klondike bar, and I wouldn't do any of that stuff.
I'd definitely rather have a Klondike
I would
bar.
just go to the store for a Klondike bar.
That's the thing to do now.
It's typically...
Give it a few months.
The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Oh my god.
Catching the Holy Spirit over here.
Oh my god. Dude, that's so funny. The church.
The church.
Yeah, I was into that.
The
Hardcore.
prayers.
Yeah. Jesse Duplantis, Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagen, John Hagee, Mashed Potato Man.
What was the lady with the clown face? Jan and Paul Crouch.
Tammy and Faye Baker.
Well, she was the original. She was the OG.
She was great, though. She redeemed herself.
She was the OG Skinwalker.
And then Jim, he's just
She like a Mary Kay pamphlet just exploded on her fucking face.
She really did. That's very
It's like,
accurate.
is this the sequel to Bozo or some shit?
She, the best part was when she cried.
Oh, and her makeup would run?
And her makeup would run, and she is crying. And she's got a bad pill.
She looked like a Cure video.
Personified Cure video. Yeah.
Man.
Exactly.
Those were good times.
With less blood. A little less blood.
Oh, there was the blood of the lamb.
Yeah, that's something interesting. Pleading the blood of Jesus all over everything.
Yeah.
I see a lot of religiosity in modern day New Age woo-woo practices that remind me a lot of the church.
Well, I just can't figure out how, covering yourself in the blood of the Son of God is going to make your relationship with God any better. Because if I came home and a guy was covered in the blood of my son, I wouldn't expect him to go, hey, we're cool now, right?
I think I'd bury him in a pit in my backyard if that was the case. I'd be kind of upset. And what's the fascination with blood in the first place? Like, why so much blood? You talk about, the satanic stuff, but I mean, goat's blood, that's nothing compared to
Oh, yeah, where they were...
messianic blood,
Yeah, it's a human being, man.
It's human blood. Why are you talking... Who... What? I don't understand. There's so many weird things in the Christian church.
I think it's symbolism, though. I think
it is.
Because the Essenes talk about the blood of God and the flesh of God basically being like the fruit of the earth. So,
yeah.
Anything you ingest or take or see or know of is basically the
trees, personified pieces of God, fish,
particularized.
Birds, all of that stuff. It's pretty cool.
I like to talk about mystical stuff so people think I'm deep.
So people leave me alone. So people don't want to talk to me anymore.
I like to just hang out at a coffee shop sometimes and just write random thoughts in my journal, hoping some chick will come by and think I'm intriguing.
Yeah.
She'll say, "What are you writing?" I mean, like, you wouldn't understand.
You're really complicated, aren't you?
I'm super, super complicated.
Oh my goodness. Well, Will, welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast, I guess, or will
Something
be.
like that.
We're talking, and I have had a lot of fun cracking jokes with you and get to know you. You have been reading a bunch of different stuff, and we've had some similar experiences that have been very funny.
Yes.
And I'm happy to welcome you onto the show today.
I'm glad to be here.
Cheers.
It's weird. Am I going to be interviewed?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I'm a casual interviewer.
Hell yeah.
I'm no Joe Rogan, but you know,
It's like Interview with a Vampire, just not as long.
the vampire does the interviewing. You know,
That is true. I was wondering why you had teeth like that, but I just figured it was something y'all do out here.
my man, right down the street in Georgia, in Duluth,
Over in Gwinnett County. No, I live in Lawrenceville.
Lawrenceville. Got it. Yep. Between
My
here-
address is... No, just playing.
But yeah, between here and Atlanta, you've been in Atlanta
I moved here in 06.
okay, so that was a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And previously Asheville, and then from Texas originally.
Correct. Born in Arlington, Texas.
Very cool.
Agtown.
Very cool.
Yep.
Is that where King of the Hill's set?
No, it's not.
Okay.
King of the Hill is set in a fictional town that doesn't exist in Texas
Okay.
called Arlen. But I can see the similarities because you're not the first person to ask me that.
Yeah, well, I'm not very educated on Texas. I try to just drive through there as quickly
Texas
as possible.
isn't very educated on anything, so
I
we
loved
won't hold it
I loved
against you.
Austin. I didn't really hang out anywhere else. We just try to get the heck through there, you know.
it's a big state.
It's huge, 888 miles across.
Whoa,
Yeah.
888.
Yeah,
You
dude.
see the symbolism
Yeah,
there, bro?
bro.
Bro, I bet like Texas is like a fucking vortex, bro.
Dude, the whole state's a vortex.
It's just a big vortex of like
Giant vortex, homie.
like rifles and John Deeres
Yeah.
and stuff.
It's manifested different.
No, Texas is cool. I like Texas. I won't live there again, but that's just not my thing. I'm in a different place in life, you know.
Yeah.
Just don't want to. I mean, it's pretty. My dad still lives there. My sister lives in Houston, but I don't really have any need to go back. I've gone back a couple times and ended up back in Atlanta twice. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. This place keeps me coming back somehow.
It's pretty.
It's been a beautiful spring. The flowers are nice. Everything's green and, blossoming right now, except for those riots downtown that we got invited to.
Yeah, we did get an invitation.
We got invited, which I thought was nice.
I declined. I wanted my food to digest. You know, it's a Sunday.
I mean,
It's why you're supposed, it's easy like Sunday morning.
yeah, maybe they're thinking, well, schedule the
Sunday
protest.
afternoon's supposed to be like really crazy.
Yeah, we'll schedule it for Sunday afternoon after everyone has brunch.
Let
kinda
everybody get out
tired.
of church
Yeah.
and then go to the fucking
Arch.
What are y'all's goddamn? One of those fucking. I can't think of the name of that damn. Something. Flanagan's, one of them goddamn restaurants.
Yeah.
Charlie's.
Charlie's.
And then we'll not tip the waitress.
Yes.
But we'll leave her a fake $100 bill with the gospel written on the back.
Pamphlet. Yeah, a pamphlet.
We
about
appreciate
John
your
3:16.
service.
Have you ever heard of the John 3:16, the Bible verse? Shall I recite it for you?
I can beat you to it, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, I think everybody out there.
I can do
"Please, God, spare
317
me.
too.
Please, God, spare us all. We don't want to hear the Eagles.
John
song.
3:16.
I've been thinking a lot about the similarities between church and, New Age spirituality. There's all these, routines, not exercises.
You mean exorcisms?
There's all these things you got to do. You got to do this and you got to do that. And I find that if I do everything that I'm supposed to do in self-help or spirituality, then I don't have any time left to do anything else all day, Like if I do all the things that I need to do and all the rituals. The
Well,
rituals are interesting to me.
Being close to God is a lifestyle. You got to wake up. You got to have your devotional time. You got to read scripture. Got to
Right.
get it into you.
Then you got to
You
journal.
got to journal,
Yeah.
spend some time with the Lord seeking his face.
Of course.
You know, the Bible says that if we seek him and seek his face with all our heart, he'll heal our land.
Do you think God has a face?
Yeah, it's Joan Osborne. Yeah. What would he look like? Know the prophets, yeah.
Right, I'm gonna get a
copyright abuse, yeah.
This channel is not gonna exist anymore.
Yep, that's the end of the podcast. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think anybody's really mad about it.
Can we sample Prince?
I wish.
Yeah, that'd be the end.
That
He
would
died
be
on my
amazing.
birthday.
Did he really?
Bro,
I
was
Prince.
fucking pissed. I was I knew God was not real at that point.
That was the one that did it. That's what did it.
I'm like, snakes can talk.
Yeah.
People can split the sky.
People can get swallowed by a whale and then come back
Prince
from
was
it.
supposed to be immortal.
Yeah, Prince is gonna be immortal, though. I mean, his work and his persona will definitely carry on.
Well, he lives on in our hearts.
He definitely lives on in mine.
What do you have in this box here? I just noticed that. Oh, that's where you had the microphones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my Pelican box for the road.
Those are nice boxes.
Yeah, they're really cool. They are waterproof, and I don't know.
Yeah, they're often used by drug traffickers to drop out of planes because they're almost indestructible.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
if it's good enough for a drug trafficker, you might be a reptile. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I'm doing Foxworthy bits.
Yeah, who would drop that out of a plane?
I don't know. That thing is nice. It's a really
It
nice.
is nice.
You know, people put cameras and stuff in there too and travel with
Oh,
them.
I've got a
across.
gigantic one.
They're the best.
I actually got it from a guy who used to sell drugs.
Well-
It didn't have any drugs in it. You know, I was like, that was part of the deal. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to, you know.
You got to be careful because sometimes
I didn't know if you had a pistol
forget.
there. Yeah, but that'd be a small pistol.
it would be. That'd be like a small.
And I know you're anti-guns, so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I know you hate firearms.
I don't like firearms. They make me feel uncomfortable. But I have no reason to think that people should have firearms pointed at them and then they should give away their firearms. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think we should just, because I think we have. Remember the Old West? People had a firearm on their hip. Everywhere they went, they had a firearm.
There was fucking snakes everywhere, dude.
Well, I'm just
You
saying.
had to shoot snakes.
Well, there you go. And now we don't need them as much. So people don't wear them as much. And I think that's a good
That's why
thing.
we got so many goddamn snakes.
Eventually, we won't, there won't be any need for it. I hope.
For guns?
Yeah. I mean, not in this
mean,
lifetime.
That's a utopian
You know.
dream, I think. I mean, it's like, it's
To
great.
kill snakes with.
You gotta.
You got to kill snakes. That's why I have a couple of slingshots laying around the house,
I mean,
to kill snakes.
that works for killing Philistines, too.
That's right. Big ones.
Am I a dog that you come at me with a stick?
Yeah. I mean, I think Gandhi said that the worst thing that the British Empire did to India was take away their right to bear arms. That was like the hardest thing to sort of deal with.
Should I not be making extra noises on the mic?
Gandhi said that. Gandhi.
Said don't make noises on the mic.
Yes, he did.
I mean, he's a wise man. I should probably stop making
I'm not here to have a gun debate. That's for sure. I think,
Are we allowed to?
yeah. I'll just cut it out.
No, we don't gotta pause it. No. I think Gandhi was a cool guy.
I like Gandhi. I think he had some cool things to say.
What's your favorite thing that Gandhi had to say?
The thing about the guns.
Oh, that I wasn't listening to when you said it?
Yeah. He said that was the worst thing the British Empire ever did to India.
He's also credited with saying, an eye for an eye ends up leaving the whole
Makes
world
the whole
blind.
world blind.
And be the change you wish to see in the world.
Yes, he's credited also with saying
And
that.
I'm sure all he had in mind was t-shirt sales on Instagram. But, you know, he was an entrepreneur.
He was an entrepreneur, you know, and he wanted his legacy to make money. And I think he did a good job with that. You know? I'm a big fan. Big fan of making money after death.
Big fan of making money after death.
That's when it really...
And pretending to be spiritual.
Yep. Like Deepak Chopra.
Oh, man, I love Deepak. Pull up the generator. We need to drop some proverbs on these listeners. Because this is one of the most entertaining ways to spend your time on the internet.
I'm tempted to look up his net worth.
Did you play that thing that I sent you the other day? The
Yes. I
the fucking game.
Well.
I got about 10 out of there. The what was it called?
The cosmos opens subjective choices. See more wisdom. Interdependence explores intricate sensations.
So if no one knows what this is a website that generates words taken from Deepak Chopra's Twitter feed, and then it just jumbles them up into just some of the deepest insights I've ever come across in life, you know.
Clearly, yeah.
It's like...
It's life-changing.
I mean, you know, I'll just sit and meditate and just play this, keep hitting this button to give me some more wisdom over there.
Greatness is at the heart of precious mysteries.
Is it not, though?
I mean, dude.
Is it not?
This word salad needs a little bit of ranch dressing. Let's see what's going on. Innocence influences the progressive expansion of happiness. Now, that's my favorite so far.
Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can channel the generator. I'm getting a download. Mystical enigmas flourish in the light of truth and beauty.
Wow. Dude, that sounded like it came from like the Song of God.
It did.
Bhagavad Gita.
I love the Bhagavad Gita, actually.
Knowledge projects onto self-righteous potentiality.
The ego is dissolved by the fractalization of consciousness being within its prime state.
Well, a single particle depends on ephemeral miracles.
I can't top that.
No, your stream of consciousness game is strong. It's very impressive. You must be being whispered to by the Holy Spirit.
Halabashandarabahata. Balamashandarabalaha parabashadarabasapa.
Remember being in the church and they would say, you cannot blaspheme the Holy Spirit.
What does that mean?
It means if you make fun of the Holy Spirit, God is going to kill you.
Like he did with the guy that was
like Sam Kinison.
No, his alcoholism killed him.
I'm pretty
or maybe it was some other drugs
pretty
too.
sure it was God.
I mean, that is true.
I mean, come
He was a preacher.
I beat Cubwood.
He was a preacher before he was a comedian.
Yeah, he was a preacher before a comedian, and he was
And he had that style.
And yeah, well, that's why he was yelling. You know, he's like, ah, blah, 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 hallelujah. You know, and he would come out and be like, you know, the difference between me and all these other comics is you're gonna want to see these other comics again, and that is just baller. I love how just in your face he was. He's not my favorite comic, but I do like his boldness.
I thought his life story made him more interesting to me.
I think his life story made him seem like an asshole because he stole a bunch of money from other comics and.
Well, see, I wasn't talking about that part, dude.
The preacher part.
Yeah.
Well, I guess after he went through the church and did all that, he's like, well, it's all bullshit anyways.
Well, I mean, he got to suck on some fucking Hollywood titties.
I'm pretty sure Bill Hicks was out there with him in L.A.
They knew each other, I believe.
Yeah, and...
I don't know these people or their lives, so I can't really speak about it.
I've just seen documentaries. I don't know if it's true. I shouldn't pass on words of things I don't know about. But
that's all we do, though.
It is. Isn't that interesting, too? Because I hear the same thing coming from 30 different sources, and they're the same sources over and over again. And I'm just like, I need to step away from all this and have my own thoughts. That's important.
That takes some fucking balls.
It takes some time, too. You got to, like, isolate
Well, it's
yourself.
all time. You can't, the moment you're like, yeah, I figured it out. And then you're fucking screwed.
You're done. Yeah. I mean, it's never.
Well, you're just going to bang your head against the wall till you finally realize that's not the case.
Yeah.
But
Till you finally give up. Realize. There's a lot of great thinkers out there, but it's interesting to, like, try to withdraw a little bit and then just, I don't know. A lot of times I've heard my own ideas in different ways, sort of, or things that I sort of intuitively thought about or knew, just explained differently, and just had my mind blown and been like, holy shit. And a lot of times, though, more often than not, I was on the cusp of actually trying something, didn't, but had an insight to do it, and then just was like, nah, I'm just crazy, and dismissed
trying
it.
what?
I don't know, like trying something, some like habada hambada hamaha.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something weird.
Oh, I slipped into that shit real easy.
I mean, people are like...
I remember when I first got saved or whatever. The first time I got saved was when I was 9. Then I became a backslider. Which is a great fucking Toady song.
Dude, I was just about to say the same exact thing.
I love that song.
That whole record is
Thank
phenomenal.
you. Dap me up on that, buddy.
Yes,
Rubberneck was one of my favorite albums.
What a phenomenal
My sister,
record.
according to her, was friends with the bassist and singer, who they were married at the time when they first came out.
That makes sense.
She tried to get me into a show in Deep Ellum.
She's a hell of a fucking bass player, man.
That fucking album.
That album.
I Burn.
Yes, it's so
That
good.
shit rocks so fucking hard.
It's so good. It's so good.
But yeah, so I really related to that shit. So yeah. Oh, Backslider. What was I saying? Oh yeah, saved at 9. Saved it. Oh yeah. This is what I was getting at. So when I got saved or whatever at 17, man, I quit smoking weed for a couple of months, because I was like, I'm serving the Lord. And everyone saw me go from this hardcore atheist to this hardcore Christian, and it's like, what the fuck happened to this guy, So anyway,
hardcore atheist, that's extreme in itself, So, and then, and I can relate to...
not even just atheist, but like anti-Christian, mainly because it's what I grew up in, and it's easy pickings. You know what I'm saying? Like, picking on Christians is like walking into a fucking room full of handicapped kids and just kicking them over. Because it's not... They won't stand in an argument. They'll just get pissed, So it was super easy to... And I loved making Christians mad when I was young. But so when I first got saved...
such an interesting
And
story.
I made this, like, 180 turnaround and ended up smoking some weed a couple months into my salvation.
Oh, boy. Did you feel super guilty?
Bro, I thought the world was coming to an end.
Yeah.
What was funny is I was having all these rational thoughts about why my new beliefs weren't congruent with reality. And I was convinced that it was the devil with his
Cunning
logic.
tricks.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the devil's
And
logic.
I went and fucking sat in the damn shower for like an hour trying to like wash the sin off me and praying to God. And that was the night I guess I had to be like, all right, I guess I'm all in if I'm just going to fucking ignore the voices in my head that are like, hey, are you sure? Yeah, but bro, think about it. So then
What voices? So if your voices in your head are telling you that,
not voices in my head
I know,
like schizo, but
I know that. I know that. But what voices are telling you the other thing about Jesus and God? Because I went through the
just
same
looking
thing.
at the rational, the literal interpretation of the Bible. It's not super rational. It's full of symbolism, and you got to go through it to figure it out. Like what the symbolism is, because it's obviously not telling it's not a historical document,
right? I tend to agree with that. Yes,
it's not a historical textbook.
There's a lot in there, but yeah, I don't think it's for history. I don't think it's for literal fact. I think it's to learn lessons, moral lessons with.
Like the Book of Job is one of my favorite books. Still,
it's so depressing.
It is, but it's also like. You gotta.
That guy sees
I
the
still give God some credit because he thought that much of Abraham. He was like, all right, you want to fucking do whatever you want. He's not gonna turn. God was giving the dude credit, but I think it's the oldest book in the Bible. It's older than Genesis, or copies that we have of Genesis.
Interesting.
But it's also the story of man suffering in life and not
acknowledging the negative in there.
You stick to your guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Don't
don't
let the darkness in.
I mean, because remember who was condemned at the end of Job was his friends for trying to be holier than thou. You know, Job had his own thing, and he was like, you know, telling God that he would be better off not being born, and God's like, all right, smart guy, sit the fuck down. I'm gonna ask you some questions, right? He's like, where were you when the foundations of the earth were laid? You know, like, where does the water come from in the, you know, in the deep, the sources of the deep? And of course, like any rational human, I guess, who was having a conversation with God is going to go, yeah, I don't know. So I'm just going to shut the fuck up now.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's just humility, right? I mean, life is suffering, bro. Anything could happen at any minute. What's your attitude going to be toward it from that? Because there's people who've overcome way worse. So, I don't know. I still do have a lot of respect for Scripture, but I also like to lambast it at the same time.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I can't say misuse as if I'm some authority on it, but the abuse of it, I would say.
Yeah.
And the psychological manipulation. It's just like, when you see it in families, it's really hard because it's like, I mean, if we're being technical, it's child abuse, but the parents aren't aware. You know, it's like this mental. I mean, it fucks people up, bro. You think about how long it takes to get. And I apologize if I say bro a lot. It's pretty obnoxious.
You're fine. It's all good, bro. I'll say that. And
it's better than I'm being like, bruh.
Yeah, bruh. So
hey, bruh.
We can bust into characters too at any point. But no, I mean, so you were just talking about, you know, going from being atheist to going into the Christian church. It's interesting to think about. It is, to an extent, I agree with you, abuse, and that's abuse that a lot of us have been through. And it took me 3 years to take apart that belief system. You know what I mean?
You got it done in 3?
Over 3 years.
Holy shit!
I was focusing on it pretty heavy though. You know what I mean? And I still and to the point where I'm honestly not even bitter about.
Hold on, 3 years to just break all the chains psychologically?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I think it took me about 3 years.
I don't know, man. I think it might run deeper in us.
Maybe.
I don't know. I could just because I'm slow. I mean, I always thought about it. I always dwelled on these topics.
Well, when
But
it became apparent to me.
My thing was because I went from being a Christian to being an atheist again. You know, but it was a fairly quick unravel. Where I was looking up. Oh, I was on the fucking interstate in Dallas, and there was just like a gridlock traffic and all these cars, and I just like imagined in my mind, all these people are gonna be in hell. Like, I was just looking at the whole traffic jam and just all these cars everywhere I looked. And I'm like, so like 98% of these people are just going to be fucking burning forever. And so it was like a hard day in traffic that day.
That's rough.
And
That's
I was like,
burden for you to
but I had to think about it. You know, this is like 10 years in to being like, I'm devoted to Jesus, you know, like, you know, so I'm hardcore, but it just, I had to come back to my rational mind. But that's how it started. And I was like, well, it's not congruent with the nature that I ascribe to God, right? Of being love. It just doesn't make sense. So, and like everyone should, I mean, most people are like, yeah, man, I figured it out when I was like 9. You know, I love how all atheists were like, I was an atheist when I was like 8. I was smarter than everybody. It's like, anyway, where was I going with that?
I'm not sure. Well, you talked about going from atheism to Christianity, back to atheism.
But it started from, so it was a slow slip initially, and then it just kind of snowballed. So it was like, I started looking up hell, right? And like, where did the idea come from? Right? Because the ancient Jews didn't believe in hell. They just had Sheol. It's just the place of the dead. Everyone goes there. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And then you had Jesus talking about Abraham's bosom and hell and all this kind of stuff. Again, symbolic, right? So Jesus, the hell comes from a term, or I think it was a Greek word called Gehenna, which was like a city or a place outside the city where they would burn trash. And scholars believe that's what it was talking about. He was like symbolically like speaking of the state of the soul when you go against your own conscience, you know? But hell, as far as like a place where you just burn for eternity,
eternity.
Eternity. I don't know why I'm slurring my
burn
words.
eternally, yeah. Either way it goes. It just depends on, what kind of rhymes you're trying to spit,
Oh, speaking of that, do you want to hear a rhyme? Mm-hmm. I can't believe I'm going to do this on something that's going to be broadcast. I wrote it when I was an atheist.
I'll put it on the show. How about that?
You could do that.
Is that cool?
I could send it to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you send it to me, I'll put it on this.
It's really old
podcast, at some point.
It's really offensive.
Great. Save it for the end of the show.
People are like, I didn't know this guy was going to be a fucking rapper.
Well, Will's definitely an artist. He is on Instagram No?
I'm deactivating for a while.
Okay. He was on Instagram. You'll still you're deactivating so your photos won't be up?
Yeah, it won't be able to be found for a while.
So never mind. But
one day.
But the man is an artiste in many ways. Really grateful for you running a comb and some clippers through my shit because it was wrecked before you got. What did you so kindly?
Hold on, dude. What you just that? There's no context. You just
okay.
He just said I ran a clipper and comb over your shit and it was erect.
Did I say erect?
That's what you said, right?
I said it was wrecked.
Oh, wrecked.
Yeah,
okay, I was like, what the fuck?
No, I know.
I was like, I'm not shaving his shit like
I
that.
feel night and day. No, we're not.
I cleaned your beard up.
Yeah, that's
because I'm a barber.
That's right.
And that wasn't stated at first.
Sorry. My bad.
People are like, he's combing his fucking his body parts or something.
I was trying to make it sound cool, but I didn't. I failed. But Will's a barber who's deactivating his Instagram.
Just for a minute, bro. I'm so fucking. Why are you laughing at me? Because I'm trying to quit social media.
No, I don't blame you. That's smart. Get off.
I just need a break, bro. I just have anxiety.
It gives us all anxiety. Ugh.
It's horrible.
It's bad. Like that's why I took the Facebook app off my phone. And I used to be like on Facebook so much.
I was too. I was part of this atheist fucking group. I don't know if I can say the name of it on here without people getting, if they're a part of the group, but it was like a huge atheist page, and I was one of the admins making memes for it, and I was just so mean to Christians. Like, it was, but I had killer memes, dude.
I'm sure.
Killer memes.
I mean, it's like you said, it's like.
And I could split a room.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, making fun of Christians is. It's pretty.
Is that what we were talking about?
Pretty low hanging fruit. That
it is low, and I'm over here making fun of Christians.
And people go into I mean, yeah. I try to take Jesus.
Look, Hinduism didn't fuck my head up,
dude. Christians, yeah, fair enough. Christians themselves, that aren't really Christians. You know what I mean? That's the issue that I have. It's like I love everything Jesus said.
Well, Christian means like Christ.
So then I don't have a problem with people who are Christian in that regard.
I know more Muslims that act more Christ-like than any Christian I know, and that's serious.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of different,
But it just seems like, well, at least Muslims take their shit seriously. I don't mean any disrespect by using that word, but yeah, they take it seriously for the most part. I understand you can be culturally anything, and not practice and not believe, and you're not obligated to as a human, but. I'm just like, if you're going to wear the label, man, like, read a little bit and learn.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, like, if you have a mind that wants to constantly expand, you're going to find your way out of it at some point, right?
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unless you find some red herring and follow that all the way down.
Oh, there's a million red herrings. You can find them in, that's how cults spring up. Apparently, you can Wikipedia this. There's 30,000 denominations of Christianity. That's a lot of fucking denominations.
Yeah.
That's like a couple of phone books. I'm just like, which one,
Yeah.
And you got all the different kinds.
Church of Christ, Church of God,
Full
Church
gospel.
of Prophecy.
I got invited to a Church of God one time, and it was just really crazy. where the people were all standing up and they were like, "Thank God I ain't told a lie in 11 years."
Yeah, right.
You know, and it's like, oh, we give God all the glory for removing the sin, and they're just like, they're just super pure in their own mind, you know, and it was very strange because they wouldn't let us leave.
Yeah.
Right? We went in a van
Because
with them,
you
like
believe
they took us
something,
there.
that makes
But they wouldn't
you
let us
all-
leave because we were wearing baggy clothes, and they were like, "It's very obvious that you're not living for the Lord." You know, it's like, dude, I just sat through your whole fucking like end of the world speech with your giant apocalypse timeline banner hanging on the fucking back. Like, y'all need to take us the fuck home.
Right? Dude.
But yeah, even that, it's just like, and then you get like arguments that Christians get in, right? Over doctrine. It's so dumb.
Oh, yeah. They get in big time.
But that's how they all split. Like, apparently, I could be wrong on this. There's probably more to it. But, like, Baptist and Southern Baptist, from what I understand, the split happened basically because of the dichotomy of the human soul or whatever, where one group believes that it's, like, mind, soul, and spirit. And then the other one believes in, like, only, like, body and soul or some shit like that. So it's this weird doctrine to just split these groups. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean...
Because you're arguing over shit that, you know, you can't measure or...
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's like, why don't you actually, like, read into the value of what the words are teaching? I mean, people have to go through some shit, I think, for any of that stuff to make sense. But...
Yeah. Like... just the lessons, the morals.
You gotta learn life. Mm-hmm. You fucking live long enough, you realize you reap what you sow.
You do.
I mean, it's there. You know, Jesus' teachings aren't hard.
No. Well, they're simple. They're hard to do.
They are hard to do.
But they are straightforward and easy to understand. I mean, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Or
well, all of his parables, they all had something to do with choices.
Yeah.
Right. Pretty much every single one he had, just they were all about choices. Like the one about the talents, so the people who get, you know, one gets 5 talents, one gets 10, the other 100 or something. I'm probably getting the numbers wrong. He's like, do something. So he's teaching these lessons, like, what are you going to do with what you're given? Right? And he even says to his disciples, he's like, it's hard. Like, these teachings, people can't get them unless they think about them. Right? So if you really want to figure out what it's talking about, you'll devote time to thinking about it. And I don't even think a lot of people think about truth that much.
I don't think anybody thinks about truth or freedom.
I mean, we do think about truth, but
when you hear the word freedom, I think most people are just like, yeah, whatever, bro, you know? Or truth, you know? It just sounds like
truth is a big
movement.
I mean, people have been arguing about
like
truth forever.
Yeah, of course they have. And then also there's like the whole like stigma of the conspiracy truth movement or whatever you want to call it, 9/11 truth, this truth, that truth, everywhere a truth, truth. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's like, it's tired. It's a tired word. And I think like conspiracy theorist is a tired word, and law of attraction is a tired.
Consciousness.
Consciousness is
that
tired.
Word.
You know,
I love the idea of consciousness. I'll always be mystified by it, but the word and the way people just sling that shit around, I don't know. And I'm guilty.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and it's all these big, cool words.
I've been there. I've been down all the rabbit holes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny, man. There's splits, so many other splits too, and they're constantly happening. It's like there's splits in New Age movements, New Thought movement, whatever it's called, that go different ways. People are starting to really embrace Q now, which is hilarious. And some people in the spiritual community. My girl,
who like the New Age community? Are you talking about like the?
Yeah.
They're on Q?
Yeah, they're on Q, some of them.
Is that for like Quasar or some crazy shit?
No, the QAnon thing.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying they're into some other...
They're into some weird shit. They're saying weird stuff. It's funny, though. It's funny.
It's always funny.
Dude, it cracks me up. I fucking die. I laugh so hard.
I mean, sometimes I cry because I know what it's like to be crazy. So when I see other crazy people that are like, I'm going to make a YouTube channel. I'm so glad that I didn't make a YouTube channel when I was super nuts. because I had an experience where I was being texted by a number from Quantico, Virginia, and they were saying they were police, and they were like, that was over some video that I put up. I didn't say anything. It was some Memorial Day thing, just talking about some very just obvious political stuff, you know, and it was like a 2-minute video, and you ended up getting a call, and they're like, we want to know that you're okay and you're not going to hurt yourself or anyone else. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, y'all just watched a live video? I don't know who reached out to him. I don't know if they were watching it, or I don't fucking know. I was crazy though. I was crazy. You could see the crazy in my eyes. So I can understand. They might have been like, what's up with this dude? I was just crazy. There was no violence or anything like that. It was just like, wake up type message, you know?
Yeah, do you want to talk about that? I mean, it's
Nah,
up to you.
I don't know. You talking about the crazy?
Yeah, the crazy.
Nah, the crazies. I don't know. I don't tell it just yet.
That's fair. It's interesting though.
Yeah, you just gotta be.
I've definitely been, you know, I mean, there's a fine,
It was self-induced crazy.
there's a fine line between searching for truth and going absolutely fucking
Mad.
mental out of your mind.
Man,
And I think that's
what Nietzsche said. You stare into the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
The abyss stares back into
It
you.
stares
and
back.
I've had that experience, and it tore my life apart. But that's why you got to be very careful with tryptamines. Don't ever disrespect the tryptamine. They will fuck you up.
Yeah.
You might learn a lot, but it's going to take you a while to fucking figure out what's up from down again.
Stay humble
you know.
out there.
Stay humble.
Stay humble for
Yeah,
sure.
psychedelics. It's a mixed bag. You know, it feels like enlightenment.
Well, I mean,
Right? It feels like it.
There's
like
that.
there's those experiences that, and obviously I started with them very early in life, 13 when I first ate Lucy, right? So I've got a long relationship with them, but it took me a long time to figure out how fucking destructive they were. You know what I'm saying? Where you distort. When you stay distorted all the time, you can't make sense of anything, you know? And I think it just becomes static, right? Just like static, crazy river of thoughts. And, you know, when you're doing hardcore psychedelics and, you know, you fucking lose touch with reality, you're going to slip. And I had friends around me like, hey man, you need to take it easy. And I'm like, no way, man. I'm being called, you know? And, I fucking got my ass kicked, you know? I ate humble pie, you know?
I mean, it's happened to me too. It's not just psychedelics either, you know?
No, it's not.
There are poisonous
But
philosophies.
it's one of the most quickest ways to go mad.
Well, yeah, for sure. But there are poisonous philosophies that'll do you in just as bad, you know? Like, you think you're God of the world and you can manipulate matter with your mind and
But
treat
that's
people
what-
like puppets and shit, and then you wind up sitting on some hot blacktop pavement with your hands behind your back. That's, you know.
I was so fortunate because I was going crazy, right? And still just, you know, it was Dave Matthews tickets and it was mushrooms. And if anyone caught that, then put it together. And I was just abusing them.
Dave Matthews?
Yeah, DMT. I just had to spell it out for you, literally.
Well,
Dave
I was
Matthews
thinking
tickets, that's what people call it.
literally Dave Matthews is what I was seeing you in like a white button-up shirt, just like grooving to, you know.
Satellite
More copyright.
on the moon.
Someone seeking your balloon. He's an eyes out there.
So yeah, I mean, psychedelics are cool, man. People are definitely allowed to have a fucking have their own experience.
Yeah, man.
You just gotta practice caution,
Well,
respect it. You know,
yeah,
don't
of course.
ever.
Absolutely.
I like Timothy Leary where he said that when you get the message, hang up the phone.
Yeah.
But it's when you do too many, you're like, what's the message? And you're talking on like, it's like being on the party line. I don't know if y'all remember the party line where you have like 30 dudes trying to holler on one girl. Back in this is the 90s. They still have it apparently. There's
Really?
a number you can call where it's just
where you can compete against
party
other
line.
guys
Yeah, look
for
it up. It was weird.
Female attention. I'm sure there's more of that now. They're all like in quarantines and stuff still.
Yeah, it's called Tinder.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it's just like this big jumbled, when you go crazy on something like that and do it as long and as hard as I was doing it for an extended period of time, it just becomes you're completely disconnected. But obviously it's one of those experiences that it's very hard. You can't explain it. You can't tell someone like you're gonna take this and then this is gonna happen to you.
Yeah. I think that
because you don't know.
Yeah.
There's some similarities in people's experiences, which is, I think, worthy of investigation.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like you got to be very careful investigating this kind of shit. I'd like to collect some stories and talk to some other people who've had similar breaks with reality, like I have.
Yeah.
I actually saw guys. I can't think of his name. It's a dude on YouTube. It's like this Asian kid who's got like anime hair. I think he's a musician, but he talks about this break that he had where he was taking psychedelics. And I saw this as I was like still trying to assemble my life together. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy had something exactly like what happened to me. Yeah. Where you just become so disconnected and you just like spend all your time in space. It's like you got to come back to Earth.
Yeah. It's got to be a healthy balance, And I see the same thing in, justified people who don't want to take responsibility for things. And then it's just twisted up stories and, sophistry, basically. Solipsism and sophistry. And that is as much of a break from reality as, as taking a bunch of drugs,
No, yeah, you're right. But there's, ideas are endless. Ideas are infinite. Mm-hmm. So when you start one category of study, you're going to run into all kinds of crazy shit. And then you're going to be like, it becomes noise in your head. So with religions, self-help, new age, and then you watch the news, you're like, I'm trying to change my life, but I don't know if I should because the world's about to end.
Right.
It's like you're putting all these conflicting ideas in your head.
Yeah.
It's good to have perspective and not, bury our head in the sand, but I think we definitely have a responsibility to what we're focusing on because that's ultimately what determines the outcome of where we go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been insane, like going through all this stuff with the COVID stuff, and then now, people are protesting, and I certainly understand I certainly understand why people are upset, and I think that's justified. I just don't think that, just protesting does very much. I mean, it brings awareness, so it does do that, but like beyond that, I don't know what else it does, especially if you got a bunch of provocateurs in there.
Whoever they're protesting to doesn't give a shit.
Right. No, they don't. It's just hurting. It's just hurting, businesses that are being, looted.
I mean, the shit's got to be addressed either way.
It definitely needs to be addressed. It's incredible.
Not the protests themselves, right, but the root of why it's been this.
The reason why it's happening. Yeah, exactly. Which is people being.
I mean, they're on film.
Yeah, killing.
I mean, they've been filming them for years. Why? Everyone knows this shit happens. Why does everyone know that it happens and it's still happening?
And people were reporting it, and then they're still.
The dude was being recorded. I mean, you got a phone in his face, and he's
still doing it.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. He's got a body cam on too.
Oh, I ain't seen the body cam. I mean, I'm not trying to get all into the fucking. I'm not trying to follow every case, man. I mean, these are tragedies.
Yeah,
but
they are.
At the same time,
I haven't watched the video. I've heard how bad it is. I've seen a clip of it, but not the whole thing because I don't even want to see that, man. Like, I'm not trying to, expose myself to.
Man, I used to watch crazy shit, man, like cartel videos.
Faces of Death. Remember that?
Dude, listen to this shit. So we fucking got my buddies. This is when I was like 9 or 10, and we got my friends' grandparents to rent us Faces of Death and Cheech and Chong.
Nice.
Right? So we go home and they're like, you're not going to like this Faces of Death. And we're like, oh, no, we're cool. Like, this is going to be awesome. And we got like 10 minutes in and we were like,
just crying.
Let's watch Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, but I still, like, I mean, I've seen some shit on the internet where you're like, I wish I didn't have looked at that. I can't unsee that, you know? Live Leak, I fucking do not recommend it. Like, ain't nothing but just, like, anxiety and fear and horror on that goddamn site.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
If you're into that kind of shit, I mean, it's there.
Some people are. Some people are into it, whatever. The first time I ever had a sleepover party when I was a kid, I went to this lady's house, and, and it was like a bunch of kids, a bunch of us boys were hanging out, and so she took us to rent a movie, and we rented The Fly. And then we went back to the house and ate pizza and played and then watched The Fly. And when he ripped that dude's arm off in The Fly, I just started fucking crying like a little baby in this lady's arms. Like my friend's mom. I was just like not having it, man. I didn't even watch the rest of the movie. I just like curled up into a little ball.
Like, what was it? The Human Caterpillar?
I want to see that shit.
And everyone was like, oh, you gotta see it. And it's like, it's pretty obvious what the fucking, you know.
The Human Centipede.
What did I say?
Caterpillar.
Did I just write a children's book?
I did watch it. I did watch it. I do sometimes watch it. Hang on. Telephone. I mean,
who the hell was that?
It's my mom.
Oh. I was like, did you order pizza?
Oh, hey there. Are you home? I'm here.
Who was that?
My landlord.
I thought you were out there talking to that dude from Squidbillies. That's what it sounded like from here.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, he does sound like that.
I don't know about Netflix and jail, but we can VHS and fuck.
We can VHS. Ugh. No, bless his heart. Yeah, I sent him some money finally, so that's good. I don't like it that he just pops over. Text me, bro. Call before
That's
you come.
sketch, yeah.
I don't think he listens to Outcasts.
Landlords do that kind of shit, though.
I
Certain
don't
kind of
appreciate
landlords.
that, dude. You know, I don't know what.
He's like, I own the property. I do what I want. I come and go as I please.
I guess so.
Is it kind
He
of
lives in
what he sounded
Chatsworth,
like?
so he doesn't even live.
He's probably still in the driveway listening to me make fun of his voice.
No, he's gone.
Okay.
For sure, I saw the car pull away. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're all doing the best that we can in this crazy times. But, yeah, that was weird.
You know, what the world what it needs right now is a Coca-Cola.
Yes, it does. It needs to just
Yeah.
take a break, sit under a tree, drink a nice, cold, iced.
Did you ever hear about, this was a long time ago, this was probably early 2000s, and they were talking about putting gigantic floating advertisement satellites into space.
It's a great idea.
So that in the night sky, this is a real thing. I think it got voted down because people were like, no. But they were just going to have gigantic screens or some shit, like floating in space, they will probably come to that.
It'll happen.
Elon will definitely hoe himself out to make that
yeah.
happen.
Oh, yeah.
What was
He
I
cares
saying?
so much. He just cares so much.
Dude, he named his kid after somebody's Yahoo password.
Dude, like, he named his kid something that doesn't even have English letters in it.
Yeah, it's like an elven tongue.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I mean, he's a pretty weird dude. He's cool.
Weird.
Why do we got to go to Mars, though? We're over here fucking up Earth.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Why do we need to go fuck up a second planet?
We need to take a break. We need to sit down under a tree, have a nice ice cold Coca-Cola, enjoy it with a polar bear, and have a smile.
Yeah,
Have a
we're gonna have
Coke
to bring
and
him,
a
bring the
smile.
polar. We gotta have to start adopting polar bears because they don't have no icebergs to float around on no more.
No, we're gonna have to bring them into our.
They don't have snow hills to slide down with their
gonna have
kids
to
like the commercials.
buy huge blocks of ice and leave it in our bathtub.
They should do that anyway. You remember the old trucks that would deliver giant blocks
do
of ice?
remember. Yeah,
I mean, I don't personally. I remember my.
I remember seeing
great aunt
videos
telling
of
me
it.
of it. All right, yo, you remember all that shit that we never experienced?
Millennial.
Hey, you remember that shit that we heard about and we know all about now?
Yeah, but we didn't actually experience it. Yeah, that.
You remember that time we played Oregon Trail?
Hey, remember vaudeville?
That was pretty good.
That was awesome.
I'd have probably survived on the Oregon Trail.
Remember disco?
I knew when it was time to hunt and time to bury fucking
Woodstock?
Virginia of typhoid.
I loved that game. It was so
It was
fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Remember that? It was called Computer Lab, and you had a fucking specified amount of time every week where they'd be like, we're going to go play in the computer lab because computers are expensive, and here we have like mid-grade shit for y'all to play on. And now it's just like, hey, you want a fucking computer in your brain? Man, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, put it in there. Just,
man.
Stab it in me, bro.
Neuralink.
Stab.
I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well,
Only
what do you
links
think-
I need is my fucking nervous system to my spine.
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't need.
I'm good. Yeah, I don't want.
He
I
was
don't wanna
talking
be a
about like
cyborg.
having like stations where you go and you fucking go in and they like drill the shit in your head. He was like talking about like some mechanized.
Elon.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
And they would just implant this thing into your brain or onto your brain and then replace your skull, the little plug back. And
Like Westworld.
what the fuck are we? So Sony has a patent. I don't know that they have the technology, but they had the patent, I guess, for the idea a long time ago. And it's like to send like neural information. I don't know if it's for a wireless system, but basically for home entertainment to where it would provide like sight, sound, visual, sight, sound, touch, and smell or something like that. And it was going to be used. So basically where it's creating the neural experience on your brain of some other.
So it would be just like having.
It would be virtual reality.
Yeah.
Like the ultimate. But they were talking about it as for like home entertainment. And I don't know. I don't think we're there yet or even close. I don't know. Elon might have got the download from fucking Zorgon or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
How come all
I don't
like
trust
alien
it.
planets sound like something stupid like that?
I don't know. I don't know about that either. I think it's so funny, the whole alien DNA thing, and like, who cares? Like, me and my friend.
I mean, it
I'm
would be funny.
Pleiadian, and my
What if
friend's
they're us from the
reptilian.
future and it turns out that all they wanted to do was come back and play with people's assholes?
Yeah, that's basically one of my.
That's what
bits.
we're evolving to.
Yeah, is there some secret mystery deep down inside the human booty tube that
There
these
must be.
intergalactic fucking perverts?
Crowley was apparently into that.
Are-
I don't even want to talk about that shit because Crowley was,
Crowley is
from what I
all over the place.
I don't know. I forget what it's called. Like, well, he's like sex magic or whatever.
He was into that.
But there was some fucking ritual that they talked about where he says like the young boys are like the perfect like specimen, and like something about stimulating the bottom of their spine and the pineal gland, and it opens them up to spirits, and then they can use them as like
fuck.
And it's either way. I mean, it's nuts, but it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, he like murdered some guy who followed him around and like was basically his little simp, you know what I'm saying? They were friends or he was a servant or something, but he ended up poisoning him.
Jesus, what a psycho.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I've never
He was
really
the
gotten
beast.
into. I've never really gotten into Crowley, man.
Watch some fucking Crowley fans stumble across this. They'll be like, you don't know, man. You just misunderstood, man.
Yeah, whatever. He is misunderstood by me because I don't understand what the fuck he's talking about.
I don't.
I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm a
all the
I'm a
occult-
simpleton.
The theosophy stuff. What was her name? Blavatsky.
Madame Blavatsky. Yeah, I don't remember her first name.
I was all into that kind of stuff when I was
It's interesting.
First.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it's also kind of doctrine-y.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Even the Hermetic gold Order of the Golden Dawn is all like, super ritualistic and like, I don't know. It's just
What are they guarding though?
nothing. I mean, all
what
that
I'm saying.
information is out there. Like it's not
That man is the temple of the indwelling God.
that the secret word is no.
But here you gotta do our handshake.
That God is in you and you have all the answers within yourself, like the Tao says,
Like Jesus said,
like so many things have
the
said.
kingdom of God is within man. Why would he say something like that? Or the kingdom of God is at hand, and people are like, Jesus was talking about himself. He's like, hey guys, I'm the kingdom of God. Everybody, do what I say.
It's my new rap DJ name.
Dude. Why am I coming back to Jesus? We've covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
From
it's interesting.
Drugs and back to Jesus.
Drugs.
Is he calling us?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so, backslider. Us backsliders, we always come back, don't we? Don't we always come back?
I can't ever be back in the same capacity.
I think
Jesus is my homeboy, just like that American Eagle shirt from 2002.
I totally agree. Yeah, I don't have it, and I don't have any animosity toward the church. That's why it took me a while. I struggled with that belief. Maybe it was longer than 3 years, but it was really 3 years from when I said, okay, I'm either going to incorporate this and use it as my belief system, or I'm going to uproot it. And I chose to uproot it, that I didn't want that as a establishing belief for me, or to view things through that filter. Though I still...
It's a scary filter to look at the world through.
Well, it is. I talked to Jonathan Ray once about this, because it's pretty interesting. You grow up with this constant, anxiety of the apocalypse always happening. Your entire childhood.
Always.
Every week you go to church, and it's always this. Now it's fucking here, and it's like it's been cried wolf to...
I thought there was going to be more planets flying by.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more exciting too. It's just now heating up. It's just now the beginning of it all. We haven't even... I don't know what pale rider or horse we're on at this point, but I don't think we're too far in. We haven't seen any plagues yet.
All apocalypse means is
it's a veil
hidden.
Lifted. Yeah.
Like, people are waiting for Jesus to come out of the sky, and it's like, it's not what he was talking about.
And simultaneously, people in the New Thought movement are expecting to just shift over into some
turn
other
into
timeline
Jesus
or something. I'm not really sure exactly what they expect.
They activate the light grid
and then go to a different reality.
Yeah.
Then
it's 2012. It actually happened. It was a shift, but you didn't see it.
Right. That makes sense.
It's like that dude up there on that chair that's mad at you.
It's like that virus that you can have for 14 days and be asymptomatic. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it doesn't seem. But also, 14-day incubation period, and it's going to resurface in 6 months.
Apparently, Fauci said it's not likely, and said that people don't even have to wear masks because it's not doing anything.
Since when?
This is something I saw yesterday.
Jesus. They changed their story so much. So much fucking doublespeak.
Up is down.
It's crazy. You just can't. It's exhausting.
I don't try to follow the conspiracy anymore.
I already know what's going on. I don't need to follow.
We'll break it down, Boots.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I think that there's people who are very interested in consolidating power, and so they'll do whatever they can to consolidate that power over time. For some reason, they have amazing patience. I don't understand why you would work on something that's going to take longer than your lifetime to accomplish. That's my big question about the whole conspiracy thing. Because it's like, look at the Rockefellers.
Are you talking about like an ancient conspiracy?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about current, conspiracy with like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and whomever else is in that group of people who are using their money and influence to try and consolidate power into smaller and smaller hands, ultimately, I guess, into the hands of the UN.
But there's always going to be warring factions for power.
I mean, you hope so.
There would have to be.
I mean,
Unless they just sedate us all.
But, I mean...
Well, I guess they kind of do that anyway, don't they?
Well, those people who are in play for power are playing in a different, stadium than the rest of us, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yes, that's true, but I think that's a small group of people. And that's the scary part about consolidating it into smaller and smaller hands. Like, we need to try to decentralize things, I think, as much as possible. Those are positive things. So, it's just that, like the Agenda 21 thing or the Agenda 2030 thing or whatever it's called, like trying to force people into smaller and smaller places and do the communitarianism sort of thing. I read about that a few years ago, and I guess that's still part of the thing. It's all about sustainable development, which sounds great, but it's pretty sneaky, to just push people into smaller and smaller, like communes, basically, near the city, and then that's they want to.
So the city just expands into a shanty town.
I guess, yeah. And so the difference between
I don't see that happening.
The haves and the have-nots. I don't see how it's gonna happen, but I've seen it a lot.
I don't know. I don't think all rich people are evil.
I don't either.
I don't think money makes someone. But I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have.
I think so too.
Christians have it, as long as they don't go to like Creflo Dollar's church.
Most of the Christians, Christians. Most of the people who are well-to-do that I know are pretty cool. Actually, there's some of them that I've met that I didn't really like very much.
Right.
But most of the assholes are like middle-class people who try to be rich, try to act like they're rich. And I hate them.
That's not the same as rich.
It's
or
not.
Wealthy.
It's not even close. But I think there's a very teeny tiny percentage of the people who are rich that are, pushing for some sort of power in smaller
world government.
Hands. World government, yeah, that whole thing.
I mean, we'll see. I don't even want to.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not naive to, men seeking power, Who was it, Rothschild that was like, allow me to make the gold? Or no, he who makes the gold makes the
rules?
So yeah, it was something like that.
Also talking about controlling the food supply and how important that is. But
have you ever seen Century of the Self?
I don't think I've seen that.
You need to watch it because it goes into Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays.
Propaganda. Yeah,
it's like a 4-hour BBC piece, which I know whatever you think of BBC, but it like goes deep into like how
Torches of Freedom.
He used his uncle's ideas to sell products.
Torches of Freedom was the first thing that he did.
Dude, Torches of Freedom was liberation.
Yeah.
Because we took a picture of it.
Liberation, and then the cigarette market doubled its market. Yeah. So, I'm very familiar with just the first paragraph of that book will blow your mind. Your tastes are formed largely by men you've never heard of. That's the first fucking paragraph of that book. It's just like, wait, what? Yeah, you were trained to like the things that you like. You don't even know.
Pavlov.
And if you've read 1984 or Brave New World, there are elements in both of those books that I see on a day-to-day basis. Even if it's not a quote-unquote one world government, if you can faction it out into three, like happens in 1984, where it's East Asia, Eurasia, and Oceania, which is basically the U.S., Australia, and Britain, which is already happening because of Brexit.
Where's South America?
South America is part of Oceania too. Yeah, we've dominated there. Like
Jesus.
Yeah, try to do your own thing, Venezuela, and we'll coup you. But anyway, so those are the three things, and then they keep telling the people that they're at war with East Asia, and then no, we're at war with Eurasia. No, we're East Asia, and they keep changing the the fucking narrative on people, and everybody just goes with it. They forget that they were even at war with the other country before. It doesn't matter. They just basically just take the download, if you will, and then just keep on living life. That's some pretty interesting stuff, with this whole, and then the vaccine thing, right? Like, what's up with that? Like, is that going to be a thing? Are they really pushing it hard? Like, is it going to be like a vaccine that does nothing? It's just saline, And then there's another vaccine that we got to get later on when something else, and then there's another one, and then we all have autism.
I think there's a lot of psychological tests being done.
I think it's just so much going on.
There's a lot going on.
It's so confusing and disappointing. I've definitely seen Agent Provocateur.
The world's fucking
smashing out.
The world
windows
can be a scary fucking place to live sometimes. But how can I make my life better though?
Yeah. Absolutely. No matter what.
Bro, I'm saying I don't watch the news for more than 2 minutes a day.
Well, if the circumstances outside, there's not a whole lot we can do about that. You know what I'm saying?
It's always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Not always, but you know what I mean.
I mean,
there's always going to be
you want to make an
things
influence
going on in the world. There's been newspapers selling for hundreds of years. right?
Yep.
Newspapers have been printed. Now it's just the medium is way more accessible. So everyone's idea goes online. Everyone has an opinion on this, but definitely the mainstream will say, well, we're only going to focus on this very small aspect of whatever's going on, and stop watching the fucking news.
Yeah, people, please
That's
stop.
literally the best thing you could do.
Please stop watching the news. Yeah, that was a daily reminder.
How did these news anchors fucking go to sleep at night?
I don't know. There's literally like...
Not that they're evil, but you know what I'm saying? Like, does it ever come into their mind that, like, oh my God, I'm a fucking puppet?
I would think so. If
someone else is moving my mouth.
Literally, that is happening, because there are these really cool videos you can watch on YouTube where literally
they all
every
say the same
local
thing.
news station
Yeah.
is saying exactly
There's
the
hundreds
same,
of those.
verbatim, and it's just like,
It's a threat to our
holy
patriotism. Yeah,
shit.
it's crazy.
Oh my God, that is scary. I like that Ben Swan guy, because he'll do like the deep dives and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his.
He's just pretty good, but ain't a lot of people doing that, going rogue on their local news channel. You know, they're saying just spitting out the same crap.
No, you can't go rogue. You can't do that.
Not when 6 people own every media platform. You know, except for
But everyone thinks that they're literally
Except
like,
for
well,
pod.
my station's doing their duty to me.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
telling me the
Yeah,
truth.
NPR's telling the truth.
You're watching the wrong
Oh, yeah.
channel, buddy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
If you just change the channel
Yeah, bro.
and see things my way.
Everybody knows that your channel has an agenda, but my channel,
Dude, your
it has
channel's the one that has an agenda.
It's got a little bit
full
of agenda,
spin, man.
Dude, it's a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as your channel and all of that propaganda twisted spin. You know, it's just mine's better.
I think your channel and the people like you that watch it are what's wrong with the country.
Well,
it has nothing to do with me being a judgmental motherfucker who can't rationalize anything.
Well, I think you peddling these types of ideas is what is ruining our country. You know, we're all trying to be good citizens of this place and uphold the values that these people wrote down on a piece of paper, and that's really important to me. So if you say that it's not, then you're wrong, and you are a virus on this nation, and you should leave. And on your way out, build a wall after you cross the border. Or at least dig a trench and put some alligators in there or something cool, you know? Some hammerhead sharks, you know? Maybe some dragons that breathe fire.
Man, I'm not gonna mention who said this, but I heard a human being the other day tell another human being, in all seriousness, like he was dropping some fucking gem of the latest science or the hidden science. I heard him tell this other human being that they found the bones of Godzilla, and that's how we know what Godzilla looked like.
See, this is the problem.
Nah, it was a serious conversation.
Literally dumb enough to believe that. And if you watch the late night show with Jimmy Kimmel and he goes and asks people questions on the street, you know, you just see like how people are about as smart as a hot dog. I mean,
it can be pretty discouraging. It's
very, very disappointing. You know, they will ask the simplest questions. I don't even know if it's Jimmy Fallon. Maybe it's not. I haven't watched it in a long time. But they would go out and they would ask people questions, and it was always the worst. Like, they didn't know the answer. They didn't know how many states were in the country.
Right.
Like,
They
none
don't
of
know
that.
anything.
Nothing. They don't know who the president is. Some of these people. And I mean, how do you not know who the president is right now?
That must have been an older one.
It was an older one, but it was, you know.
I get to what you're saying because it's.
I mean, I don't know how you could not.
It's
know
not
who the
cool
president
to.
is.
It's not cool to be educated.
What are you reading that book for?
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's not cool to be educated. I mean, it's not cool to be educated. It's not cool to ask questions about the nature of reality. It's not cool to dissent anymore. It's not cool to have a differing opinion. It's not cool to bring an idea or independent thought up or talk about something that makes people feel embarrassed. Like none of those things are allowed anymore. And I think those are the things, even as uncomfortable as they can be, are kind of the most important things that happen when we're trying to work through things. Because otherwise you just don't, I think a lot of these folks, they don't work through anything. Like they just continue to bury their hurt over and over again, and talk about how things should be forever and ever and ever. But like, there's never any resolve. Like it doesn't. There's no there's no revolution because there ain't no resolution because people don't even know what they're talking about anyway. Like they don't even understand.
Well, most people just repeat what they heard the smartest person they know say. Or in their own mind.
Exactly.
But that's what we all do. I mean, we all have our opinions. It's like,
for sure,
they're all, I don't know, man. This could go, this would turn into like a 9-hour podcast getting into philosophy like this, but yeah, let's talk about something else.
Okay. Let's talk about ordering a pizza. I like pizza. I'm in this.
70 people were.
Oh boy.
Atlanta mayor on Trump. He should just stop talking.
He really should
Arrested
stop.
in Atlanta last night with the city under curfew as Georgia's governor activates the National Guard statewide.
Okay, I can't play that, can I?
I think you could.
It's educational.
Violent protests across the
Fair use.
country. He vowed to step in and use, quote, the unlimited power of our military, and he suggested the local officials should, quote, get tough and fight. He's also talked about threatening the most vicious dogs and most ominous weapons I have ever seen to use against protesters in Washington, D.C. What do you make of the way the president has handled this crisis?
He should just stop talking. This is like Charlotte all over again. He speaks and he makes it.
He is. She just said it like it is.
He
should just stop talking.
He should just shut up.
But people like that talk to hear themselves talk. I mean, it's crazy to me. Like, people think he's sincere and heartfelt, and it's like,
I don't
he's
understand.
the worst president that we've ever had.
Absolutely.
It's literally a fucking clown show at this point.
It is.
They're like, look how low we can set the bar.
Yeah.
And you'll still fucking submit. Because who the fuck? I don't know, bro.
And people just go along with it, and they think that he's a God-fearing
he's a businessman. I know.
Who's
they
also a
they
businessman.
asked him before the election, so you're a Christian? He's like, yeah. And he's like, what did he say? Something about, have you ever asked God for forgiveness? I forget what report this was. And Trump was like, well, no, because I never did anything wrong. But if I did something wrong, I guess I'd ask. And it was like, there's no born-again Christian that's going to say that,
I don't know how you could, and yeah. You've got to be a psychopath if that's what you're spouting. You just got to be a psycho. The guy's a fucking psycho. He's a celebrity.
He's a celebrity psycho.
Businessman. Psycho.
But he makes a lot of money. No, he owes a lot of money.
He owes a lot of money. He's failed over and over and over again. Like, he's done everything wrong and still somehow...
He probably just owes a lot of motherfuckers. They're like, look, we're going to fucking ruin the world, and you're going to fucking be the guy at the wheel.
Yeah.
But so, because you owe us, so
Right.
it's either...
But he's secretly
take the long road, or we can...
But Will, trust the plan, bro. He's secretly the good guy. He's a white hat.
He's a light worker.
Yeah, exactly. He's a light
Who the
worker.
fuck said that?
Elizabeth April.
Ooh, you can't say their names on...
Oh.
Can you?
I think so. I'm gonna play.
Right, she's
I'm gonna
on-
show videos of her later.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna show. Videos.
I don't want to... I don't even want to talk.
Because
Let's
it's
talk
funny.
about something...
Because in the end, spoiler alert, she actually makes a really good point. So I want to go through that video and make fun of it, and then at the end, she was right. So I'm not an asshole as much of an asshole.
You want her to be right?
She does make a really good point at the end.
About Trump being a light worker. Well, I don't know what a light worker is. I know I've read it in the fucking Ascension glossary. What in the actual fuck?
Her point at the end is
Let me
that
see if I can pull that back
Trump's
up.
a distraction, Q is a distraction.
It's all distractions.
And she's exactly right. My boo, at night, I think of you. My boo, Elizabeth April, boo girl. That's my twin flame, dog.
Is it?
No.
I thought you had 3 other twin flames, though.
Dude, I have like 7 twin flames, and it's
I
crazy.
just hate talking about Trump. I don't. There's.
It's just
no. Well,
I
there's
saw
no.
that
There's
very
no content.
I saw that very
of
triggering
character.
YouTube video, and I watched the entire hour. And most of it, I was laughing my ass off, just laughing my ass off. But at the end, she was right. Not that Trump's a light worker, but that he's a distraction, and Q is a
Oh,
distraction.
well, she didn't have to have a 9-minute video about.
It wasn't a
ascending.
9-minute video. It was an
ascending to
hour
the-
long. It was an hour.
And she waited
long.
to the end to say that.
20
She
minutes
shoulda-
of that video is
she
her
shoulda
just
led with
promoting
that.
her next live stream. You know?
Take my class.
Yeah. She's got a Gaia TV channel. So
Oh, enough said. Dude.
Yeah.
What's that dude? Wilcox.
David Wilcox.
He looks like a fucking Walmart David Spade.
Yeah.
You know, he's like
I get him confused with Graham Hancock. But David Wilcox.
Graham Hancock. Is,
He's got some good stuff, right?
yeah.
That book, The Hidden Universe there that I'm reading, he talks about Graham Hancock.
The guy that goes, Randall Carlson, the guy that goes on the podcast, Joe Rogan, that dude is interesting.
Cool.
He does all the archaeological. Why am I pronouncing my words so strange?
Did you eat some acid earlier?
I did not. I don't touch it anymore. Like cataclysmic, like archaeology and, you know, the cataclysms of the earth, where he talks about like the ice age and how everything was basically frozen. But I mean, this dude's like he's an encyclopedia of information about like the cataclysms that happen around the earth. Because you think about these periods where people were almost wiped out at several points in history. Because we didn't have the technology to survive like we do now. But, I mean, but I don't want to think about that either. I mean, there's definitely a possibility that we could get smashed by some big flying rock.
Oh, Aaron Doty.
I'm going to play that fucking Tool song
Okay.
while it happens, you know? Because, like, if we're going to go out like that, I might as well have some good theme music.
Of course.
Well, I can figure out how to bring Tool into any conversation.
Are you ready for the Great Solar Flash and the Great Awakening?
Tell me more.
Let's find out what.
Oh, is this the email you just got from your Woo Club?
No.
Y'all sign up for Woo Club. It's $29.99 a month.
It's the best investment you could make. It's better than Gaia TV. The quality's a little lower, but the information is spot on. Our gurus and channelers are the top of the food chain. They're the best. They only eat
Organic free-range
regurgitated
eggs. And they actually regurgitate their food into the mouths of
each
baby
other's
birds.
into the baby bird
That were
mouths.
endangered.
Exactly, and they feed them.
Because
we give a lot of things away.
Moral superiority can be photographed.
And shared on Instagram. Remember the good old days when you can just do whatever you wanted and play whatever you wanted to on your podcast or YouTube channel? Yeah.
No. I never had a podcast.
We're going to learn about the Great Solar Flash that's coming.
The solar flash?
The Great Solar Flash that's coming for the Great Awakening. We are going to have a solar flash. Some of us will see it. We'll go to a different timeline. Everybody else is going to stay here and burn and
Well, look,
suffer. Man. It's going to be basically an apocalypse I'm sorry, not an apocalypse. What is it called? Ascension, what is it called?
Well, the enigma of ascension is the miraculous flow of quantum particles within a field of opposing energies corresponding to the consciousness within the being of the divine.
Dude, get off the Deepak Chopra quote generator.
I'm good at it,
That
though.
was fucking great. No, absolutely. I think we should do some channeling videos.
What if we actually end up channeling something?
Dude, I'm cool with that.
I'm not.
I think that'd be...
I think it'd be retarded.
I think...
I would call it out real quick and be like, all right, bro.
All right.
Let's smoke another one. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I would be interested because, like, apparently, like, Vadim's books are all channeled, right? Like Tufti and all that.
Tufti seems like tongue-in-cheek channeling, though.
To me, too. I agree. When I first read it, I was like, this is just ridiculous.
The rest of it where he's like, I've seen men that can float. It's like, I thought you were a fucking physicist.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You've seen guys float, or you heard legend of the old monks in the Himalayas that sit around in temples on top of the mountain, and they just kind of float in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like that's what a sage would do.
Yeah. Because
Great one.
Because the floor is
What is it
uncomfortable.
that you have to say to me? Watch this.
My ass is tired from sitting on this pillow.
Have you seen where they're like the hopping? That's what they call it. The levitate. You never seen those where I don't know if it's just certain cults, but it's these practices where they just hop on their knees. So they're just popping their knees and their hips and bouncing, but they claim that they're levitating. It's like, no, you're hopping in Indian style.
Wow.
What would flying do? What are you going to do?
I don't know.
And why would the universe allow you to fly? You. Not you, Bootsy, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The proverbial you.
I agree.
Why the fuck? Why would I deserve to
Dude,
just
I
get
made
to
a
fly
whole-
so I can just go, hey,
Dude.
guys, in case y'all didn't know who was better in the situation, it's me, because
Yeah.
I can fly.
I have less ego than you. Watch this.
Oh, you need me to deliver that message for you? I can fly it over there if you need me to.
Your spirit guides told my spirit guides to tell you a message that they couldn't tell you.
I got a word from the Lord.
There you go. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I was praying last night, heavy in the spirit, and I just went to the Father, and he just laid you on my heart.
Brother.
Brother. Hey, brother, how you been? Growing and going? We need to get you rooted in the things of God. First things first, sign right here, become a member. We'll take you to a little room with some little shitty tables, but we'll give you muffins. And we'll introduce you to the real gospel. Not the one we talk about out there in the sanctuary. That's to get people comfortable. We'll tell you how we run the gospel around here, buddy.
Yeah. Woo!
And then we're going to need some credit card information.
That's right.
Because, see, this ticket to heaven is going to cost $49.99 daily.
That's right.
So
Plus
rack them
time.
up. But it's seed.
You got it.
It's faith seed.
It's seed for the harvest.
For the harvest that God is going to pour down upon thee. He said, I will open up the windows of heaven and pour a blessing down upon you that you cannot even contain.
Wow. We
Wow,
will
listen.
truly be overflowing. Our cups will overflowing.
With bullshit.
Yeah.
I literally went to a church one time with my homeboy. It was a black church. I think they were Church of God in Christ, Kojic. And I don't know if they do that in all Kojics, but they had an offering that the girl literally told us that the guy was using he was trying to get this Cadillac paid for, right? And it would just seem normal. So they took an offering and they passed it around. Or did we have to go up there? So they have people come put money in the basket, I think. And they pass it around one time, and the lady like picks it up after, and she looks in it, and she goes, "Oh, this ain't enough." She passed it back around. It was bizarre.
Damn.
But I've also seen other churches where like guest prophets will show up and they'll just rain down the Spirit of God inside of your soul. And they'll take a love offering at the beginning and the end, maybe even for a conference 4 nights in a row. I'm talking about, we've had...
And then they go to Magic City and make it
From
rain.
being in the church and seeing some of this stuff, there are some of those, they don't call them prophets for no reason.
Right. Prophets.
Because, buddy, they can leave with offerings of like 30 grand for a night.
Damn.
Especially in a wealthy church where you get somebody with a nice checking account to just, and they just play the right chords. Get you all in the zone.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into the throne zone.
Those generous vibrations.
We're just gonna get into the presence.
Here we go. Everybody just...
And then you're gonna just sit there and listen to this beautiful girl sing on stage with our $40,000 sound system.
This is the real thing.
Notice it's so loud you can't even hear what's going on in the Starbucks in the lobby.
Vibrate through you. Just let it.
See, we just wanna bring down the presence right now. Just fill us with the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
You see,
Reach deep.
Lord, I just want you to just show these people,
Lord is telling you.
the importance of
These
seed
people need your help.
and planting the seed. Tell them they shall always reap what they sow.
You're going to get way more stuff back.
And so,
than you give in the first place.
I've got student loans I've got to pay off for my kid.
It's up.
Not my legitimate kids, but one I had with Sister Wallace.
That shouldn't be their burden. You should pay that. Pay it.
So, I just need you to know that it's better to give than it is to receive.
Give.
And it ain't me saying that. These are the words of the Lord.
They're the words of the Lord. You better listen. I'll remember this on your day of judgment.
Damn.
And that's what it's like to be.
That,
in
it
church.
is what it is. Yeah, because you get the voice on the back. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you get that like wave, that second wave of just like, oh yeah, just like nudging. It's these psychological triggers. I mean, it's the same thing that marketing people do. They destroy the way you view things, and then they build an escape. They build the solution. It's problem reaction solution. They show you what the problem is and how terrible it is, and then make you think that it's just the worst thing ever, and you have no control. And then they give you the way out on the end of the presentation, and you're like, oh, $79.95. It's like,
dude. So the guy who's a pastor of the church that I used to go to. Maybe I shouldn't say the name of the church, but the pastor and his son went on to build this app that's doing pretty successfully called, I shouldn't say the name of it, they kind of give it away, but basically what it is, it's an app that churches can implement. It's a software to, log everybody's credit cards. And so it's a automated process.
oh, nice.
It's automated blessing,
Smart.
Yeah.
But
They pull like 7% of like every transaction or some shit that goes through it. So it's like, yeah.
Wow, fair.
Oh, there was some
fair tithe. It's fair tithe. Remember
me
fair
ain't
tax?
hurting no more.
And it's like, well, just pay taxes on what you spend. It's fair tithe. That's what they're doing. They just take 10% of every transaction.
I told you about the church I went to where they call tithing earth rent.
Earth rent. Yeah. Dude, that is so fucked up.
It's better to be 10 or 90% blessed than 100% cursed.
If you
That's
have,
what they would say.
If you have, okay, let's say you have 200 people in your church who each make $30,000 a year. They're paying a tithe of $3,000 each to you, times 200 people. That's what, $66,000 right there?
I don't know.
Shit, I'm not. Hold on. I'll do the math. Anyway, you can make a lot of money fleecing sheep,
I mean, sometimes I wish I didn't have a conscience or I would have started a church.
It would have been so easy, dude. Like, being in a cult was fun, honestly. Like, it was a good time.
It made everything easier to handle, for the most part.
That's $600,000. So not 60.
In a year.
So if everyone in your
What do you think it
congregation,
costs the operations of the church? But yeah, they pay. And when you're in the church, when you're in that culture,
everyone's on payment,
everyone
dude.
serves the pastors associate pastors, and then it's like this culture of like they call it being on staff. That's what the goal is. I'm going into ministry. I really just don't want to work a regular job, and I want to have the church pay me.
Yeah, I wanted to do it when I was like 17, and I was super into all of the stuff. I was like, absolutely, man. I want to be I want to help people come to God or whatever, because I thought that
it's a lost world.
Yeah,
and I've been given the Great Commission to carry the gospel to all the earth.
Few are called.
It's like, damn, no pressure, huh?
Chosen. Yeah, exactly.
And all the people that are like, you got to be a witness. Like, they make you feel guilty for not telling everybody. I mean, I've been that weirdo too, where we go out and pray for people on the street.
Yeah, I've done it too. Try to witness
just look
people.
Stupid. Get up out of that wheelchair.
What are you, fucking Kanye? Oh my God.
I mean, I've experienced miraculous things. I probably won't talk about them publicly because I don't need to.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. I have too. I've experienced miraculous things. They've been mind-blowing. I believe in miracles. But at the same time, dude, I've literally had to make videos on
Is that an R. Kelly song?
Fly. Well,
that's an R. Kelly song.
Speaking of R. Kelly, I Believe in Miracles is not an R. Kelly song. I believe in miracles.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Where from? You sexy thing. And he's the reason why anywhere you go, it smells like pee, because R. Kelly has been everywhere.
Drip, drip, drop.
Drip, drip, drip. O-R. I don't even know what the R stands for, but...
Robert.
It is Robert? Robert Kelly. Mm-hmm. Robert Kelly.
Oh, he had some bangers, though.
Now, he had some great music.
Half on a Baby. If you can't make a baby to that song, man, that was a good album. Those were the days.
Yeah, I mean, he did have some...
Luckily, I didn't make any babies to it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it'll get the job done.
It'll get the job done. Miracles can happen, but I literally did have to make a video on why you can't fly. And why... I forgot to add the part that you said about, like, what does it matter? What difference does it make if you can't... Because that's really good. That's a really good point, and something that I think about a lot with all of this, because whatever the movement is, the tendency toward, outrageous ideas, especially if you're new to it, is very seductive. You want to jump in with both feet. You want to be a part of something.
You want to be enlightened.
You want to.
That's what everyone's looking for.
Everybody wants enlightenment,
and it ain't a thing. Enlightenment's not a thing.
You got to give up.
You can have experience. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I've been cutting you off.
You're right. You're right. But no, you're right. I mean, I made a video called "Fuck Enlightenment." I mean, I agree with you. You got to give up on it. Like that's not how it works.
Yeah, with anything. Like it's like
I used to yearn for enlightenment too.
Of course, I did too. I went crazy searching for it, But it ain't.
It's an apparition.
It is. You can have. I think all you have is moments of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Enlightenment, and I could say I've had enlightening experiences, but enlightenment being a state.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Enlightened.
No.
It's like
nobody gets there.
I don't believe in it. I think there's people who have resolve, and there's people who have, strong emotional intelligence and mental intelligence.
Is that what Nelly's talking about? An EI,
emotional intelligence?
Yeah, that's what that's for.
Probably.
He's a deep guy.
I always thought he was kind of Freudian.
Yeah. Been reading Gurdjieff,
Yeah, he might.
I don't know. That's funny.
He has a Rolls Royce and I don't.
He does.
So
he does. You can meet me in St. Louis. But yeah, miracles. A miracle club. It's good stuff.
I mean, they're cool. You can't explain them to people though. You can tell stories right? But everyone, especially when you get into like I remember the hardcore atheists, everything, I want anecdote. I don't want anecdotes, I want data.
data.
I want to see the studies.
Let me see the statistics. I want to see the research.
Which I think that's dangerous too, right? Being just completely cold and rational.
Absolutely.
It's safe.
Is it though?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's
there's an upside to every down, or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, it's about balance. I mean, that's what spirituality is really about, or whatever this is. Just learning ourselves and having some balance with it, understanding. But not going too crazy. Often you can go crazy though. You can.
I think scientifically minded people are less likely to go crazy. I mean, of course,
but I hope I don't sound like
I'm some enemy of science or something.
Yeah. I'm not an enemy of science either.
I'm all about rationality, but that's why, like, I've gone through the mysticism stuff and all, and it's like, cool. There's some symbolic stuff, but it's all metaphysical. So it's like, you're talking to people who live in a physical world about metaphysics. They don't give a shit.
Right. Well, I've also been on the other side of that. Like, my first endeavor into all of this is very, like, objectivist-ish, where it's like, oh, well, this has to have, blah, 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 blah. But that's not true. There's tons of stuff we can't explain that is completely...
We want it to be compartmentalized where we can, like, hold it and be like, well, this is the truth.
Yeah.
But we can't do that.
No. There's a lot more to it than just, like, what's happening on the physical level, too. There's two worlds.
What are you going to do with all the knowledge? What if you knew everything?
Yeah.
For what? You can only think about one thing at a time. What good would you be if you could, you know what I'm saying? You were just a giant filing cabinet of every fact that could ever exist or ever has existed. I mean, yeah, you'd be helpful if I wanted to cheat on a test or something, but that's not reality either. You're not going to be sitting next to me with superpowers, so I'm not going to count on it. And knowing everything just seems overrated, right? Even Solomon said a man of wisdom is a man of sorrow, right?
That makes sense.
Like Ecclesiastes, the whole book is him, like, it's the hopelessness of life and the despair of life. It's completely different than Proverbs. Ecclesiastes, he's just like, everything's hopeless. It's all chasing the wind. But it's true.
Yeah. Fatalistic, but true.
It is very fatalistic. Mm-hmm. I don't know the backstory on it, but...
It's hard for me not to get a little bit fatalistic, at this point. But at the same time, I think there's... I don't know.
You need to wear more crystals.
I do. I need to, lift up my countenance.
Do you have a salt lamp?
No.
That's your problem.
Oh.
I've seen it on Dr. Oz.
Okay.
Well, they said get a salt lamp and then gargle some white cider vinegar.
Oh, yeah. Apple cider vinegar. Put it in my butt every single day.
Yeah. I've heard it. I've heard it goes directly into the hemoglobin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best way. You want to boof it, get it in your bloodstream as quick as you possibly can. And then you take a wad of coconut oil and then, put that in your mouth, swish it around.
Coconut oil, just straight coconut oil.
And then swallow it. Swish it around and then swallow it. It's good for you.
Or just, slap it in your hair.
Yeah. Just spit it on your hand.
Get it on, people's couches.
Yeah. Reminds me of Massive Head Wound Harry.
I don't know that one.
It was when Dana Carvey had this massive head wound on his head, and he went to a party, and it was
on SNL.
On SNL, yeah.
I think
it was a pretty good sketch. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but it always made me laugh because the dog starts eating his head.
Dude, I was at a. Sorry, I always cut you off.
No, go.
So I was at this party. This was years ago. It was probably 2007. And there's a little guy there, and he was all fucked up, and we were getting high there was like four of us, my homeboy and his girlfriend. So we're in their bedroom. We're like passing a blunt around. Well, the little guy he's wasted, and he climbs up on their bed, right, which is like kind of high anyway. They had like he pulled something over and stepped up on it. But he's like laying there all drunk, and the dog, who hadn't been neutered, comes and basically teabags him, and he kept trying to lift him off, but his arms couldn't reach the dog, so the dog just kind of stayed there for a minute. So, and we laughed. I mean, we eventually got the dog off, but it was funny for a second. He was a good kid. He probably kicked my ass for saying that. At least my ankle.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're going to have to do some editing. Like, I don't even have a Twitter, and people are just going to start fucking tagging me.
Launching stuff at you. Oh, it's fine. We're all comedians, so
yeah,
we're allowed to say stupid shit.
My opinion's more valid than yours.
Well, I can levitate, so whatever. I don't really care. I can't do it. I don't do it in front of people because I don't want to brag. I don't need that ego juice. You know what I mean? But as soon as you leave, I'm fucking floating up into the air. Like I'm in outer space, like I'm an astronaut, just eating cheese out of the air. Little Dippin' Dots.
Gravity tell me to be quiet. I'll be quiet. But when he leaves, I'll be floating again.
I'm just gonna be swimming through the air, just.
I have dreams like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You can
those
fly.
Those are my favorite.
You can fly.
Mine's more than I don't really fly. I just can just jump as high as I want to.
That's cool.
It's like a water substrate.
I can fly if I become aware. I can just go. It's just like a. I don't know. The only way I can describe it is
like
that
a
noise.
Samurai grunt.
I don't know. It's just like I'm doing it. That's the sound of intention right there, folks.
I can just make myself, like, if I jump, I can go as high as I want, or as low as I want, or as far as I want in a single jump, and it's very. So I don't know.
It's like pinching a loaf. It's this.
I'm pinching a liquid loaf. I need to piss real quick.
Well, I would give people a way to contact you, or
nobody needs to contact me.
All right,
I'll contact them.
All right.
I'm ready.
If you need to hear from Will, he will be reaching out to you directly. But
so all you channelers out there, make sure to tune in.
Listen to that. Yeah, the kingdom of God is inside of you, and so is Will.
So am I.
So there we go. So yeah, you can.
And
check.
where there's a will, there's a way.
There we go. I like that a lot. That's really neat. Yeah.
It's kind of corny.
But all your work. But yeah, your work is great. Thanks so much for working on my face as a barber. Yes, as clear.
You set it up so strange.
I was trying to make it sound cool, and I didn't. So there's that. I hope. It'll be fine, I guess. It'll be all right. Nobody's tripping. Oh, God.
I'm sure there's some people tripping right now.
Trigger words. Yeah, so don't go too crazy on stuff out there, but do whatever you want. And conflicting, paradoxical messages from now until the end of time. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you, Will, for sitting down with me.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Y'all stay confused out there.
Yeah. Bringing light to the masses, bro.
You figure it out. That'll be all right.
Y'all might not want to hear this. These fucking space cadets are saying shit that's so absurd to me. Quoting scriptures they don't know, they grossly misinterpreting. They really think some ancient shepherds knew how old the earth could be. Jesus got up out his grave and Mary was a virgin. Please. They say salvation's an emergency. What about the millions of children with only dirt to eat? What about those little infants smothered in their nursery? What about the thousands dying cause they can't afford the surgery? God is God, how do you determine what his word should mean? Speak the love and peace, but then omit the rape and murdering. Child abuse is telling kids that they could burn eternally. Teach them to believe the preacher and even pay the service fee. See, I'd have never followed if I'd only known where churches lead. Funny how the house of God is also where the serpents breed. Only place around where the wolves are free to herd the sheep and never let them question when they wrestle with uncertainty. Keep them blind, stay in line, work them while they serve the beast. Give them dreams of heaven and they'll never know when they're asleep. They don't know a thing about this Jesus that they're worshiping or how his teachings were just the Essenes resurfacing. So when he said his father wrote his script, well that was perjury. Guess that makes him just another sinner who deserves to bleed. I know you don't believe he decomposed just so the worms could feed, but faith is blind, baby. I suppose you need to learn to see. Claim to hear his voice and can't even discern a thief. Passers by in private jets and telling you to turn a cheek. Promising you blessing while you struggle just to earn your keep. Use guilt and shame as weapons, cause no other ones can hurt as deep. Now when we're walking in the circle sees Jesus motherfucking Christ, will someone lift the curtain please? It's no coincidence that they play the perfect keys. Why they prophesy bullshit at a time when you're in need? They'll say success is on its way as long as you're appeased. Give and never get no matter how much of the word you read. Give thanks to God and not a doctor who can cure disease. Blaming Satan every time a stoner wants to burn a leaf. And you can pray till you got motherfucking purple knees. Nothing changes till you can admit the flaws in your beliefs. It's illogical that God would have to curse the seed of Adam cause he tasted the fruit off of a certain tree. If I were God and I needed to reverse the scheme, why the fuck would I come down to earth and have him murder me? The more I think about it, the more it occurs to me if God is real, nothing ever happens inadvertently. That implies he orchestrates every disaster purposely. Hurricanes, earthquakes, hunger, war, and adversity. With that said, well, we can safely say that certainly the evil one was not the little snake who tried to flirt with Eve.
I mean, I thought about when we first built the dome, I wanted to put some of those little moving bars and give everybody a little card. They stick it in a little computer slot. And if they were tithing, beautiful music would go off. And, you know, welcome, welcome, welcome to the world dome. But if they were non-tithers, the bar would lock up, the red and blue lights would start going, the siren would go off, and a voice would go throughout the entire dome. Crook, 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 crook. Security would go and apprehend them, and once we got them all together, we'd line them up in the front and pass out Uzis by the ushers. We'd point our Uzis right at all those non-tithing members because we want God to come to church. And at the count of 3 Jesuses, we'd shoot them all dead.